Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. I know. It's my late review of Married at First Sight, Season 11, Episode 8. Girl, y'all know it's been a long week. You got it, or whatever, okay? But first things first, if you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and become a whole JayBird. Dun, and all that goodness and stuff. Y'all ready to breathe it on out? Let's get to it, okay? Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay? And remember to relax, to relate, to release. Okay? Center yourself and anyone around you. And you can also like this video, comment in the comment section. You can also share on your social media by hitting the share button. You can also follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. Boom. Let's get to the couples. So first up we have, Henry and Christina. I'm like, girl, these two, this episode was bonkers, okay? So they sitting around in the house chit-chatting, okay? Each couple this episode was like preparing to have a party at the house for their friends and whatnot. So first these two just talking, casual conversation a little bit. She's asking questions. There was the same awkward, weird silence and whatnot. And then she's like, okay, so is that scene and cut? Is that it? Are we done here? Talking to production, they was like, you know what, huh? She's like, I'm so tired of always being the one, always asking questions. Like, why do I have, I got this, email or whatever message from the production with a list of games they would play at the party for their friends. And she's like, I'm not playing musical chair. I'm not playing that. I'm not this is so, and it was like, what is wrong with you? And of course, he's like, I don't know what's going on. And she's saying to I need you to be more of a one who's going to initiate questions or whatever. And say, I don't want to be the only one always doing stuff for this marriage or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you try and put into something, into this marriage or whatnot? He's like, I can do things. I can do things too, you know what I'm saying? And, I did thank you for the grocery that you went and got, you know what I'm saying? I told you I would Venmo you some money, and then she's like, well, you didn't thank me. You didn't thank me. I need that. I need to be thanked. I'm like, what is she talking about? It was so awkward. And so he like, I think the real issue is that you're impatient. And he brought up earlier how, I'm saying, a person who was impatient, he does not find that attractive, which may be the reason he's taking things so slow with her. And then, and you're so perfect. You've never been impatient. He's like, no. He's like, look, I have many flaws. Okay, I have many flaws as well. However, I have been more frustrated with the situation to how the show is in the process rather than me being impatient, okay, about what we signed up to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't particularly, like standing around doing interviews and all that stuff, but I'm more frustrated than I'm being impatient and being rude or mean to production, which is what she's doing or whatever. And why won't you look at me in the eyes? He says, because I have eye contact issues, you know what I'm saying? And that's something too, but this is extremely out of my comfort zone, okay? The fact that she was kind of ribbing on him about things she knew for him was like awkwardness. I feel like she was kind of picking on him and making it was crazy. It was crazy all because she was upset that they have her ask the questions and not him. I'm like, girl, I can't. And it was seem too much. Then we have Emilia and Bennett. Okay, we all love Emilia and Bennett. We do. So Bennett goes and meets up with one of his friends, and tells her how things have been going so far, how good things are, how much they mesh, and how much they are getting to know one another and everything. He brings up how he wants his friends to be aware of his feelings for Emilia because he wants them to know that he genuinely likes and cares for her and that she's going to be like a part of his life. He also brings up how Emilia may have to move out of state, that she's waiting to find out within the next 2 or 3 weeks if she'll have to leave for her job or whatnot. And if she did leave, that he's really considering moving with her because, again, he feels their marriage has potential. So his friends, like, there'll be a definite void in our group if you left. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should not have to leave. You just met this person, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to go. And I'm like, well, he may have to go. That's his wife. That's what happens or whatever. And he brings up how, well, this situation is like something I have not made a decision in just yet. But however, because I just met her. But, what I'm saying? I'm definitely considering leaving if she has to leave. They don't know if she's gonna leave yet. She may still be there in New Orleans. And I also felt like it was unfair of the doctors to put her on this show if they were aware that her job may have to make her leave. Like, that's not something I think that you should match someone with without them knowing. Because you didn't match them with someone who has to leave the state. That's not fair, but I digress or whatever. So Emilia meets with her friend and tells her friend how cool it has been to get to know Ben or whatever, and how she likes him, she's attracted to him, and he's pretty cool or whatever. The friend then asks, "Oh, that's great, but like, will he be open to move if you have to move?" And she said, he has so many ties, like he has friends and family here, so I don't know yet. I don't know if he would really move with me or if he's just being supportive about me possibly having to move. So neither one of them have made a decision yet. So we shall see. Olivia and Bennett, or Bennett and Olivia, girl, whatever. We know Olivia and Bennett up in here, okay? Now, she's having lunch with her friend, and again, tells her how things are going, how she feel like, things are challenging right now, but if we, keep taking things at a time, it should be found and it can work its way out. You know what I'm saying? She brings up the whole budget argument, that he just, likes to complain about how he feels that she don't know how to budget. And, the friend then say, well, have you shown him how you do things? Like, have you shown him that or whatever? And, have you used your words, what I'm saying, so that he's not assuming how you budget? She's like, well, not really. And I like the friend said, like, you can't assume that he knows how you do things. You know what I'm saying? So the things he's saying, you maybe just be offended because you know how you do things that he doesn't. So he's judging you, absolutely. But, talk to him, show him things, because that's the only way to work it out, communicate between each other, okay? Now, Brett, punky ass, meets with his friend or whatever and tells his friend how things are going. He then say, well, Pastor Cal came over and, stirred up some shit between us or whatever by asking these hot button questions. He then says it was a dick move of him to be forced to force us to have conversations about kids and finances and this and that, and as if this wasn't like a fourth date for us, because it's only been 2 weeks. I'm like, you're married. Have you not seen the show? This is what they have all the couples do to make sure that they are having the proper conversations. For you to say that Patrick Cal stirred up shit and it was a dick move of him to have y'all communicate with each other, then you're an asshole, Brett. You're a whole ass of the whole, okay? So they then get on the whole finance part of it and whatever, and the money things and whatnot. He's like, well, she makes more money than me because she's a nurse practitioner. The friend, like, I don't even know what that is. And so Brett then say, well, it's just a nurse that can write prescriptions. She can give out medications. And they're laughing. When they laughed about it, it pissed me off, okay? He then says she's basically Nurse Jackie, the girl off Showtime, and they're laughing. They're laughing. And I'm like, first of all, assholes, a nurse practitioner is not just about giving medications. They can diagnose people, they can see people, they can, actually treat patients. They have to have a higher level of education. They're not a doctor, no, but they can still do much more than a nurse. The main thing is not, they can give medications. That ain't, bitch. It made me mad. Okay, I digress. He does bring up the whole budget thing. And he says how her priorities are shopping on QVC and taking trips. But mine is watching my net worth grow. We both have different priorities. And the friend then say, I didn't know that there was still QVC around. He said, well, apparently it is because she shops on it. The fact that he talks about her in this manner shows he's not a true husband. You should never be behind your wife's back, kind of, down talking her and downplaying her to make it seem as if you are the better of the two. We have our favorite couple, Woody and Amani, okay? Now, this is a Saturday. They're both off this particular day. And he wakes up and he's like, you want some breakfast? And she's like, yeah. He gets up, makes some breakfast, had flowers for her, in the refrigerator and whatever. He brings up how he likes Saturdays because it's his day off and he can just like kind of just be with his wife and they can just lounge around together, like, and just spend time together. And so they sit and they talk over breakfast or whatever. And she says how it's crazy that we have liked each other since day one. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I hope that whoever I was matched with, that eventually that I would like them or whatever. But I've gotten so lucky that what I'm saying, I've liked my husband since day one, and we keep having this bond that's growing more and more and more. And then, he tells her how, what I'm saying, I love waking up to you, what I'm saying, I know it won't be as easy like this all the time, but I feel like if we just, what I'm saying, are both willing to keep working to try to fix it, what I'm saying, it'll be worth it. They both, he keeps speaking positivity into them and building their bond, and she receives it, and then she then reciprocates it, and vice versa. They both are doing what this show was made for. I think a couple of seasons it was real crazy, it was real stupid, and I do feel like this season seems to be much better than seasons prior because each couple is doing it in their own way. But I do feel like they just had a connection, stronger than the others. But again, it's great to see them taking the proper steps and just living in the moment of this is what it is. Be yourself, and this is what it is. I loved that. Oh, but not. Karen and Miles. Okay. So they're sitting around talking at the house, and he tells her how he feels like we need to communicate better. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, he said when Patrick Cow was here and you said that, what I'm saying, you did find me attractive, I would have had no idea that you felt that way. You know what I'm saying? Had you not said it, I would have had no idea. He brings up how he kind of does need words of affirmation, saying that's important to him because Karen is a hard person to read. So sometimes she don't say something, he has no idea that's how, that's how she feels and stuff. And so he just sort of like, I just wish you could do that more. And I appreciate, what I'm saying, that she acknowledged that and she brought up how, because she smiled at him and said, you look nice today. I like your haircut. And I was happy that she heard him, listened to him, and then, acted on what he just told her that he needed as a husband. I need you to let me know things. And he even said like, I don't need you to gas me up. I don't need you to continuously, give me compliments or whatever. But I think every once in a while, like, because you may not say it, like if you can just, because you may not act it out, you can just tell me how you feel, and that way I just know, what's going on or whatever. And she tells him how, that's something that I know I need to work on, because I'm not good at expressing things. And I also move slow with men or whatever, but I can appreciate you, understanding me for that, and like not, being an asshole about it to me and whatnot. And she also tells him that he's proved that he's, that he's respectful, and that she like, I know we married or whatever, and I need to step it up, and I get that. And then they kind of discuss a little bit how they haven't kissed too much. And then, he said, yeah, my lips are always available. You know what I'm saying? I could put some chapstick on, and they were laughing about it or whatever. And then she's like, if you kiss me, I wouldn't call the police I wouldn't call the police on you or whatever. It was cute to see her let her guard down a little bit. Okay. So that was cute. We then see all the couples meet up, whatever. The guys was with the guys, and the girls were with the girls. Okay. And so the girls, okay, so we see them sitting around for food and drinks and everything, and we see, a couple different people said a couple different things and whatnot. Emilia brings up how Bennett lives in a little house that he built, and it was so cute, and she loved it or whatever, which then Christina jokes in the confessional and say, I guess Henry lives in a little house too. And I'm like, bitch, shut the F up, okay? And I don't mean to call her bitch, but I'm like, we ain't seen your house, so how do we know how big your house is? I think something is up with her, and I feel like a secret gonna be dry. Is she homeless? Because you can't act as if, Henry's house is very small, but you have one? We don't know, okay? Olivia then brings up how her and, Brett, had an argument and everything, and how they fuss over the budget and her spending money on entertainment and food and fun. Um, Christina brings up her and Henrietta for a little fuss or whatever because she feels like, she's the only one contributing to the house, and it's just been her doing the little wife thing. But she then say, I've been off all week, so I went grocery shopping, I got new bed linens or whatever, I did this and I did that. And if he can't start helping me out around the house, if that doesn't change, then I'm saying that would be a deal breaker. I'm like, y'all have only been married for 2 weeks. I think it's crazy that she is saying this as if it's been like months. They've only been home for 7 days, and if you've been off all week, which means he's been going to work, why is it an issue that you went grocery shopping and bought a new bedspread? I'm like, girl, men don't care about no goddamn bedspread. She make it seem as if she out here building the house and he at home doing nothing. Girl, she just gets on my nerve or whatever. We then see Karen and Emilia talking or whatever, like separately, and she tells her how her and Miles kissed and how she liked it. Karen is slowly, I guess, trying to come up out her bubble, but she's still in her bubble, so I don't know. I may like her in like an episode or two. I don't know. Anyway, then we have the guys all together at the little bar, and Brett is still complaining about the little how she makes more money, okay, and how she makes enough money to not focus on doing a budget for herself, and then brings up, because if we travel, we can't go to no fancy place. We have to go to somewhere that's not fancy because I can't afford the fancy places. And I'm like, what? And what do you make the perfect point? Like, your wife is not going to want to, downgrade from a 5-star place to a 1-star place based on you being, not, enough money, not having enough money or whatever. She gonna just end up paying for it because she likes what she likes. I'm saying you need to just accept that she makes more money than you. And I like what Bennett said. Bennett said, with me and Emilia, like, we just asked each other if we support ourselves, and that was really it. Like, we didn't really go further into the details of it all. And I'm like, please don't, because this is some bullshit going on with Brett. So Henry brings up how he and Christina got into a fuss and a fight because of I don't know, whatever. And he said, I told her that she was high maintenance. I was like, oh, you can't tell us that we high maintenance. And I don't think she's high maintenance. I think she likes attention. She's used to getting attention from men, so it's weird to her that this man should be fawning of her and he isn't. But I still don't think you can't tell her she high maintenance, even if she is. Woody tells him, like, I feel like she likes you. I feel like she wants to sleep with you, but I don't think that you realize it's an opening for you to do that, and that may be the disconnect between the two of y'all or whatever. Well, Miles also brought up how he and Karen been, kissing a little bit more, smooching a little bit here, a little spoon here, little spoons and a little bit stuff. They're getting a little bit more, touchy feely or whatever, which means she's opening up to him a little bit more. We like it. We love it. So we then have each couple by themselves again, okay? And then we have Brett and Emilia at the house, and they're cooking dinner and everything. And, they then decide to sit down, go over the bills, and do a budget, okay? So for the most part, it was Olivia giving her information. And, because she asked him, like, you can help me do a budget or whatever. And then she was like, rent, car note, car insurance, what I'm saying? Home alarm system. You got a home alarm system? Just like, I'm a single woman, I stay by myself, and apparently people like to break in people's places where I live. Well, you need to move, okay? And so they get to her food and entertainment budget or whatever, or at least the food budget. And he said, like, for me, like, per month I spend like maybe $120. And then she's like, oh, mine, just varies because I do different things each month. She's like, well, like, what's a ballpark then? She's like, yeah, I would say like $500. He was like, really? She's like, well, yeah, whatever. I eat out a lot. And I'm like, okay, $500 is a lot for a single person to spend, but at the same time it's not, because if you got good food at good restaurants, it's expensive. So I mean, she just don't cook at home or whatever. So, they go over the budget or whatever, and he brings up how, she does seem to have a good hold on her finances or whatever. However, I just see a place where she can like tighten up to save some money. He then brings up like, well, instead of just, spending whatever, like this, you don't have a budget. You just spend whatever you want on food. Like, so how about instead you like, okay, on this one, I'm only going to spend, $350 on food or whatever, because then that's you saving money. You put a budget, don't go over that amount and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, oh, okay, well, that's not that bad or whatever. We can then, kind of exchange other expensive activities that I would do for other things. Like, instead of me going on a trip here or there, whatever, we can like go to the zoo. It's still something that we're doing. It's just not that expensive. He said we can go bowling, and they both like that idea. And it seemed like once they were able to sit down and have a conversation about things, it was not a big issue. Okay, we then have Amelia and Bennett, and at their house party, all their quirky friends come over. All their friends get along. Like, it was the most kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya moment. I mean, and I say that because they're both different but the same. Their friends are all different but the same. It was like they really just meshed in a hodgepodge pot a gumbo. Like, you just throw all kind of stuff in there, you better get they gumbo, okay? And we see how each friend like talks to them or whatever, and they each say how like there's this mutual attraction, there's a mutual connection. So it's like they all the friends get along. It was the weirdest, again, moment to where it all just meshed and whatnot. Now we do see how they collectively say, we're going to paint a mural that we'll put up on our wall, and they use whatever kind of like hard fabric. I want to say it was like a potato sack, but it wasn't a potato sack. It was, but that kind of material or whatever. Okay, all the friends and them made this, and I'm like, wow, okay. But again, they all quirky and weird and got along. And even her friend, her male friend, who was talking to Bennett, then came and told her, it was like I was talking to my friend. Like, it was the weirdest thing that we just got along. Like, it's as if he just fits. Again, their tribe all works together, and this mural is proof of that. Oh, Christina and Henry. So they have their party at their house or whatever, and I'm like, let's see how this goes. Now, Christina tells him how she now realizes how she was being foolish, okay, about arguing the other day. And so she's apologizing for that or whatever. Like, oh, okay, cool. And they smile for each other, whatever, for the party. Now, it was an odd bunch of people. I felt like her friends were like, it was this random old couple. I'm like, why does she have this random old white couple? Like, she don't have no regular friend. Not regular. I don't want to say regular, but like, those are friends you invited over. But I digress or whatever. His one rude friend from the wedding came. The girl who said, I'm not going to be welcoming to Christina because we don't know her. So she's like, I'm here, and hopefully I can get to know her better to see, if she works well for Henry or whatever. And so they were drinking or whatever, and they're asking questions, and it was fun. They played Would You Rather. It was awkward fun, because one question, like, would you rather have, like, really 5-hour long sex, or sex that only lasts 5 minutes multiple times? And I'm like, they not even kissing. It's the weirdest thing to see them answer questions about stuff they're not gonna do together, okay? But anyway, a good time was had by most, or by at least one or two people, okay? And then, she tells his friends how, we're still learning each other and everything, so we're taking it slow. And the one friend who I said was a rude friend did say, like, people, when I first met him, I thought he was really, really awkward or whatever. He was kind of, standoffish, but I'm saying, once you get to know him, he's a great person. Like, people think that he doesn't have emotions or whatever, that he's like, just to himself, but he's the most kind person, ever. And how he helped her through losing her sister, who died 2 years prior. And she's like, he helped me so much at that point in time. It just takes some time to build up a comfortability to be cool with you, even as a friend. Like, he's not, easy to read as a friend. Like, it just takes time, which makes Christina say, oh wow, I would have never thought that. Or thank you so much. So now she feel like I have a understanding to stop trying to make it feel like on my own that he's like, not into me, whatever. He just takes his time or whatever. Okay, now when he was talking to her friends about the same thing, taking things slow. I stopped listening because the one friend said, I'm so exhausted, listening to how safe y'all are living your life, whatever, that's not the way to live life. How can you, girl? He made me mad. And I stopped listening at that point in time. The older friend then said, she's always wanted someone to lead her and to take charge. So, you're going to have to do that to keep her. I'm like, that's not Henry, though. It just isn't. Now, then the following day, she said again, I realized how, he slowed the friendship or whatever, so I'm going to be patient about things. I'm going to do that. So they cooking in the kitchen or whatever. Oh my God, we don't have any aluminum foil. We don't have any butter. We don't have any this. We don't have any that. She said, we don't have this and that and this and that and this and that or whatever. And he's just like, let her complain. It's so blah, 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 blah. She then asked him about, what do you have? What can you tell me about your childhood, like some memory from your childhood or whatever? He's like, I don't know really, like me and my brother are close. We were raised close, but we've always argued a lot, you know what I'm saying, about the dumb things or whatever growing up, but I don't know. So that was his thing about growing up. I'm close with my brother. We always fussing and arguing. That is something to, talk about a little bit. She's just like, that's what you want to tell me about your childhood? I'm like, it's still a memory for him. That's the point of it all. Okay, so he like, what was your favorite meal your mom made when you were little? Well, I don't know. She cooked so much stuff. I'm gonna pass on this. So you're upset that he answered your question, but you passed on his. And again, we know that production kind of, wants them to have conversation to get to know one another, and it just ain't working or whatever. And so you can tell it's a passive aggressiveness to them both. She gets mad because they sitting at dinner eating quietly because again he ain't talking and she's tired of talking. So can y'all give me some questions? Like, do y'all have questions for me to ask him? Again, talking to production. Because this is not, this isn't real, for y'all to just sit here and think we're going to have this flowing conversation. If you cannot sit there with a whole man that you're married to and have a flowing conversation, even if you are consistently asking him questions, girl. But I also get her frustration that he is not talkative. But you see he isn't talkative. If you keep talking to him and getting to know him, he probably would be more talkative. Okay, but I digress. So the whole time production looks so awkwardly uncomfortable because the tension in the air, you could cut it with a knife. Pure and simple or whatever. So she then walks away because she's pissed. Okay, because again they tell her like we don't have questions we to ask him, like we just want y'all to have a conversation or whatever. She comes back, tells him, I'm doing everything. Like, I do it all. You know what I'm saying? You have to do some stuff too, and all these conversations that you have with me, all these questions you ask me are very surface level questions and I don't like it. He like, well, I think we need to like, I don't know. And he's still trying to eat and not be like awkward, but it's again, this shit looks awkward or whatever. He then say, I think maybe we both need some space. So I'll take a break, okay? Because we need some space. He then gets up and he leaves. He say, I'm done. Fuck this shit. I don't care. He's leaving. I mean, he'll be back. But, girl, it's going to be a mess with these two. At Woody and Amani's taco party, okay, it was cute. It was real cute or whatever. We see all their friends get there, whatever. And his friend, like, just seeing them together, like, you can tell, like, that he's changed just with these 2 weeks. Like, you can tell that she makes him happy, and he's happy with her, whatever. Like, he's a whole ass husband. It's so crazy to see it, whatever. And her friends said the same thing. Like, you see this a happiness in them when they are together or whatever. So we even see like they sitting around chit chat. Even when the one friend was ripping on Woody about not cooking well, get off my husband. Like, that's my husband. My husband can cook. Okay, the husband, I got you, husband. Again, just the flow of it all, just how they kind of vibe with each other. And then it was even a thing to where they was, all sitting around or whatever. And Imani sat on the floor because the family and the friends was sitting in the seat, the couch or whatever. And you seen Woody walk up and he, I guess, noticed she was on the floor. He put his plate and cup down and went and got chairs for them to sit in. So for him, before he got situated, he noticed my wife on the floor. What the chair's at? We need some chairs. I think that's a whole ass husband thing to do. Again, I ain't saying Woody perfect, but I'm saying Woody seems to be trying his best to make sure they have, good times right about now, whatever. So they played Never Have I Ever, and it was a game where each of the friends or family can ask them questions, and they both have to hold up their hand. So the 5 questions, you can ask the questions or whatever, and if we have done it, we put a finger down. And if we haven't done it, then y'all take a drink. But once one of our fingers are out, the other one wins or whatnot. It was fun. It was cute or whatever. Woody lost. So it was fine. Woody lost real fast too. So he had to give Amani a full body massage. So we do see like the guys go out and talk. Him and his two male friends, and then her and her 3 friends, and his cousin is a female, went and talked separately or whatever. And then he tells his friends like, I'm just completely shocked that I found her. Like I'm saying, I damn near love her already, and I just did not expect it to be this way. But I genuinely love spending time with my wife. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And the friend, it's crazy how much y'all click. And I would say that their party at their house was the most authentic, good time had. Friends and it seemed like a vibe. And I feel like that's because they vibe well and people play off their energy and everything. And both of their friends, it's like, you can see how much y'all clicking is kind of crazy or whatever. He do tell them how, because they asked how the honeymoon was. Like, what was the honeymoon? And we went with other couples. We explored each other. We explored hanging out or whatever. We explored each other's bodies. Okay, we took a shower together, and we did have sex on the honeymoon. But he said it didn't happen until maybe the fourth or the 5th day when they finally had sex or whatever. It was good. Now with the ladies in the room, Amani was talking to how it was good to be with him, how she likes it. And then his cousin, the female cousin, said, I was worried at first. She was like, why was you worried about what's going on? She's like, well, because I only know single Woody. I don't know husband Woody. I'm saying, and it used to be, it could be 9 o'clock on a Wednesday, and I can call him. We go out and party, and I can't do that now because he's married. And but she said, seeing y'all, I'm not worried anymore. I'm saying, because y'all vibe in school or whatnot. And then I'm I feel like if he wants to hang out, if you call him or whatever, want to go out, he hey babe, cousin called and said, she want me to come hang out. I'll say, oh, okay. She's like, now I may add well, can I go? And they laughed or whatever. And the cousin you always welcome. So it's a vibe. Karen and Miles, okay? So they have their house party and everything, and Karen brings up how she wants to see how he is around his friends, because when she see how he is around his friends and her friends, she can see if that's who he really is or whatever. So her friend get there first, whatever, and the friend sits him down and talking to ask him a couple questions or whatever, and just ask how will you be able to help her de-stress after work because her work is so stressful. And then he well, I like helping her chill out. To not bring home not bring work home with her. He brought up how her car was messing up or whatever and needed to be fixed. He went and got her car fixed or whatever, and how, I try to, I went grocery shopping, I also try to help her around the house and stuff so I'm doing things to consistently make it feel like when she come home, she not stressing about whatever's going on here. I've helped do things a little bit here, a little bit there. And then the friend then asked, well, has she been expressing herself, about how she feels? Because, because she's a professional, sometimes she don't know how to cut that off. But I'm like, oh, okay. When a friend said that, I said, that's Karen's thing. Karen she has a wall up because of her job. And sometimes people, because I know people like that, sometimes people who have to be so professional at work, they don't know how to cut that off with someone they don't know. And because she doesn't know him, she's treating him like in her profession, you're professional. And I can't be my full self just yet. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. And he even said, okay, that makes sense at how she expressed herself to me because I need to give her time to open up more to me and to let her know, you don't have to be professional with me or whatever. Cool. So we see Karen talking to his sister and saying how, I want to see how he is like once he's back at work, like once he comes home after work, like will he always be this person who's so helpful, like asking me what I need all the time. And it's just like, that's who he, like that won't go away. Like that's who he is. Like to his core, he is a person who wants to be sure that other people are okay. Like he has a heart of gold or whatever. And then I like that Karen then said, okay, I get that, but I need him to give me space to be a giver and a nurturer to him too. And because he's constantly always worried about me, I don't have the time or the space to do that to him. And I want him to do that for me. And I'm like, that's good that she wants to be there for him in that way. And sister tells her how, what I'm saying, my brother's really, like, he's a really good one. Like, he's a lover of people. And so, just give it time and then work his way out. And I like how she then brought up how, because her brother is the one that's like, okay, so I came on the show, I'm supposed to, be with this woman or whatever. And does that mean that Karen is his real wife? Or is her brother just honoring the commitment he made and Karen ain't really the one? So she's like, I'm trying to make sure that she's actually the person he's supposed to be with versus just who he's sticking with because he likes to finish a goal or whatever. And I thought it was cute. Now they then play Truth or Dare, to where only Karen and Miles, are participating in it. They have these pre-written down questions that I'm sure was from production, to ask them to either truth or dare or whatever. So they picked mostly dare. They dared her to sit on his lap the whole time, which she did. They then dared him to smell her armpits, which was nasty. And then they dared Karen to kiss Miles on the lips, which she at first like, does it say that for real? They like yes it does or whatever, and she does it, and you can tell she isn't fully okay with the affection just yet, but she also isn't like saying no thank you, I don't want it or whatever. So it was a good thing. Okay, they had a good time, and that was the whole episode. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JayLeesCorner.